So, so please welcome Shokufa from the Hazara Women for Change.
I was a little 6-year-old girl. I remember I was woken up in the middle of the night. I was puzzled. I was confused. We were asked to leave Afghanistan, so we were leaving. I remember I stepped outside the door with my family, feeling terrified and cold as I left the warmth of the house behind, the wood fire still burning. I was filled with an immense sense of sadness and pain. My dreams of going to school had shattered completely. The apples that I had buried under the ground had not turned into trees yet. My grandma, where was she? We were living at this point. I imagined the horror that awaited us. I imagined the Taliban, the mysterious giant creatures with 4 legs and a tail. I imagined them waiting in paths surrounded by perilous mountains. I was filled with horror. And the fear that was ignited in that little girl, that little 6-year-old girl, is ignited in every Hazara today in Afghanistan as I speak. In the 1890s, Abdul Rahman perished 62% of the Hazara population completely. And then came the successive Afghan regimes that targetedly persecuted and oppressed and marginalized the Hazara people. Then came the Taliban, who sought to continue the pursuit of Abdul Rahman to cleanse Afghanistan out of Hazaras. We were Hazaras. Our Mongoloid Turkic faces deemed us outsiders. Our Shia faith made us infidels. Our punishment became a duty. Our existence became a crime in that country. Tragically, the same cycle of oppression and persecution continues today as I speak now. Now it is more dangerous as the ISIS is rising in Afghanistan, is accompanying Taliban to persecute and pursue the persecution of Hazaras. In the last 2 months alone, 7 incidents of targeted kidnappings of Hazaras have occurred in different parts of Afghanistan. Over 70 plus Hazaras have been kidnapped or killed in the 2 last months alone. Their families and loved ones are still waiting their return. They are the breadwinners. Yet the Afghan government is silent strategically. And at this time, it is the Australian government that is breaching its non-refoulement obligations to send Hazaras back instead of pressurizing the Afghan government to protect its citizens so they're not compelled to pursue dangerous journeys outside of Afghanistan. In such times, instead, Australian government, instead of extending their continual support to Afghanistan to maintain the security that the Australian soldiers fought for 12 years, it is instead ignoring it and forcibly deporting Hazara refugees back to Afghanistan. I, as a Hazara, and on behalf of many thousands of Hazaras in Australia who have relatives and friends and loved ones in Afghanistan and who worry about their loved ones, urge the Australian government to take an action, to renegotiate the Memorandum of Understanding with Afghanistan's government and to press them to stop the target killings of Hazaras in Afghanistan, to bring back the kidnapped Hazaras so that it does not become a culture, a new tactic for those who try to oppress the Hazaras and try to cleanse them systematically. I urge the Australian government, as a daughter of a board person, to do something about this, to protect the Hazaras and not punish them. I urge you, the humanitarians who have gathered here, to stand by us, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.